ESPN for World Series of Poker Tournament of Champions next on ESPN. Take your pick. And Jaws, I believe 3 of us are winning tonight.
Oh,
going down. Going down tonight,
very surprised.
Fellas, we out.
But in Baltimore, there's always a state price to pay. Players and fans, come on, everybody say, Monday night rocks the old US of A. Hit it! Come on and hit it! Come on and get ready! Are you ready for some football? A Monday night tradition! The NFL Big Show, 35th edition! Country's fight! All my Reddit friends are here for Monday night!
Welcome to Monday Night Football on ESPN. Coming to you tonight from M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland. Home of the Ravens as they get ready to host the Kansas City Chiefs. Mark Brown with you for now from our ESPN studios. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya will have the call from Baltimore in just a few moments. Chiefs come in at 0-3. The Ravens 2-1, looking for their 3rd straight victory. You're looking at Kansas City kick returner and wide receiver Dante Hall. Hall last year returned 4 kicks, 2 punts, 2 kickoffs for touchdowns, and he figured largely in the last meeting between these 2 teams, which also happened as the 4th game of the season last year. Johnny Morton, a big play on the end around here in the 3rd quarter with a game tied at 3 apiece, and a little bit later on in that drive, some trickery here. Give it to Priest Holmes at the goal line. No, you go play action and find Tony Gonzalez. How do you beat that? And then with 5+ minutes left, Dante Hall finding the seam on the return, takes it all the way for the touchdown, 97 yards on a kick return, and a 17-10 Kansas City victory in that ball game. Well, things have changed from last year. Instead of starting 9-0, the Chiefs are 0-3, but the defense continues to be a problem. It was their downfall late last year, the same early this year. They're giving up more points per game than any team in the NFL, and they are one of the worst teams against the run, and that's going to be a problem against Baltimore, who's going to pound Jamal Lewis all night tonight. Something's got to give on Monday Night Football as the Ravens host the Kansas City Chiefs. We're working our way to the opening kickoff. Monday Night Football on ESPN. Hello. When you're in the Baltimore, Maryland area, that's where Monday Night Football is tonight. Chiefs and Ravens getting ready to go head-to-head. Ravens, well, they lost week 1 at Cleveland. They've beaten Pittsburgh and Cincinnati since, looking for their 3rd straight victory, and they're hoping for some improved play from that man right there, Kyle Bowler. They decided that this was the quarterback of the future for them. They're going with him, the youngster. And, of course, on the other side is Trent Green, a much more proven commodity. Over the last couple of years, he has thrown for some huge numbers. He's off to a bit of a slower start this season. Now, Trent Green at his best can throw for 4,000 yards in a season. And in the last 2 years, 50 touchdown passes, only 25 interceptions. This year, though, quarterback rating of just 71.7. And he's thrown as many interceptions as he has touchdowns, 3 in each case. As for Kyle Bowler, well, they don't want him to go out and try to win games for him. Just hand the ball to Jamal Lewis most of the time. He scores there on a rushing touchdown in last week's victory at Cincinnati. And hoping to get his sea legs, as it were, as a passer, and just throwing the short and medium range balls. And he was able to come up with a touchdown score there. As Bowler on the season just has that 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Fairly modest numbers, and a quarterback rating of 67.1, completing 58% of his passes. 415 yards of passing in 3 games is not a whole lot by NFL standards. But what is a whole lot by NFL standards is what Priest Holmes does on the football field. Spectacular season a year ago with 27 rushing touchdowns. It is a single season NFL record. Priest Holmes continues to play very well despite the Chiefs' 0-3 start. You'd figure you got a guy rushing for over 100 yards a game that you're going to win most of those games. In fact, Kansas City has lost all 3 at Denver versus Carolina and then versus Houston, and they've been giving up far too many points. So Priest Holmes, though, coming off some really spectacular rushing seasons ever since he came over to Kansas City. That was in the 2001 season. Since then, nobody has run for more yards than Priest Holmes, nearly 5,000. We told you about his 27 rushing touchdowns last year. The year before, he had a combined 24 touchdowns, 21 of them on the ground. He's gotten into the end zone this year on 4 more occasions, so 55 touchdowns in the last 2+ seasons. Priest Holmes knows how to take it to the house.
To the following presentation of the National Football League.
Fans of all ages and representing all teams on the road. A Kansas City fan, a young one at that, ready to cheer on Priest Holmes. He is the Chiefs' best hope. They haven't been getting a lot out of their defense or out of their passing game, and there is Priest Holmes, and we told you all about his spectacular play over the last several years. He is a former member of the Baltimore Ravens, getting a chance to go head-to-head with his former team. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya have it. Here's the opening kickoff.
And then if they do, they're off next week, so you can't even come back 6 days later. They're going to have 13 days off. Lawrence Tynes, who won the place kicking and kickoff job from Morton Anderson in training camp to kick off, and the rookie B.J. Sams out of McNeese State to run it back before an already raucous crowd all standing. And here we go from Baltimore, the conclusion of week 4. Sams, the rookie, takes it at the 7-yard line and brings it back up to the 33-yard line, tackled there by Shenard Hartz. And let's take a look at the starting offense for the Baltimore Ravens.
Kyle Bowler, California.
Jamal Lewis, University of Tennessee. Alan Ricord, they meet Louisiana.
Randy Himes, Lee, Grambling State.
Kevin Johnson, Syracuse.
Terry Jones, Alabama.
Jonathan Ogden, UCLA.
Edwin Mulitalo, Arizona.
Casey Robach, Wisconsin.
Benny Anderson, Tennessee State. Orlando Brown, South Carolina State University.
That is an offense that is missing 3 starters. Wideout Travis Taylor, the tight end Todd Heap, great receiver, and the center Mike Flynn. They start from the 32. A little toss back to Lewis. A lot of room, a first down. And what a way to begin for the Ravens. An 18-yard pickup for a guy coming off a 180-yard performance last week against Cincinnati.
It's an interesting defense here. The Chiefs were in a 4-4, 4 linebackers, but you see what they did? They were all packed in there because they expected Jamal Lewis to run to the inside. They kept the defense packed to the inside, and then boom, he was out in that corner and off for a first down.
There may be a few booms tonight from Jamal, who averaged better than 10 yards per carry last week, career high in any one game against Cincinnati. This time they give it to him through the middle. Now let's take a look at the Kansas City defense.
Eric Hicks, Maryland.
Ryan Sims, North Carolina.
Lionel Dalton, Detroit Cooley High School. John Browning, Miami, Florida.
Scott Fujita, University of California.
Monty Bison, Kansas State.
Sean Barber, the Spiders of Richmond.
Eric Warfield, Nebraska. Greg Wesley, Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Jerome Woods, Memphis. Dexter McCleon, Clemson.
The onus really on those guys tonight. A defense that kept all of the guys from last season despite finishing near the bottom of the league. And then Bowler has no place to go here. The secondary does its job. So, John, we brought it out during the preseason. Kansas City finishing near the bottom of the league, but they decided, let's re-sign all of our guys. They fired the defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson, and said the only change we'll make is to bring in Gunther Cunningham as the defensive coordinator.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I think it was probably a mistake not to hire Gunther Cunningham, but to keep all the same guys. I mean, they were a bad defense a year ago, and they kept the same guys. So you're starting off the year with a bad defense.
3rd down and 8 now. Bowler throws, caught. Randy Himes makes the catch, and Himes takes it for a first down. The third-year receiver out of Grambling State, 11 yards, and getting to play because of the injury to Travis Taylor.
Himes is a good-looking athlete, isn't he? He's big. He's 6'3". He's tall. And once he gets inside on that slant, right there, he's a good target for Bowler. That's what you have to do on that slant. Again, you win that battle at the line of scrimmage, and when you get inside the corner's inside shoulder, you have a completion.
He's their leading receiver. That's his 13th catch of the season. And on the outside goes Lewis, but he's tracked down by the middle linebacker, Monty Beisel. The Ravens with a great running game, great defense, but not much through the air. Take a look at that. Last season, unprecedented for years, first in rushing and last in passing. This season, second in rushing, last in passing.
Yeah, I think that's what Brian Billick, that's the way he organizes this offense. I mean, that's what this offense is all about. It just doesn't happen that way. I think that's the way it's planned.
Second and 11, and Boulder's going to go deep. One-on-one coverage. Warfield is there tipping it, and it's out of bounds. So Warfield is able to break up the play intended for Himes. Third down and 11 coming up.
Yeah, and if you're going to take a shot, that's a great time to take a shot because you're always looking out here for man-to-man with no help. Warfield is man-to-man. He has no help out there. You see there's no safety deep. And when you get man-to-man, you have to get a step on the guy or you don't have anything. But it is worth taking a shot.
Warfield, the early season leader in picks with 3. He's the only guy in the league. Third down and 11. The only guy with 3. Chester Taylor now comes into the backfield, flanking Bowler, who takes this snap out of the shotgun. Taylor stays in the block. The pass caught over the middle, but the tackle is made as Terry Jones, the tight end, gets taken down by Greg Wesley. And so the Kansas City defense able to stiffen and set up fourth down and long.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Gunther Cunningham brings to this Kansas City defense is an aggressiveness. If he gets you in that third and long, he's going to make you throw hot. In other words, throw to the short guy by bringing a blitz, and that's what he did on that last third down play. Matt
Stover will line up to attempt a 50-yard field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line. Stover in his 15th season in the league, and Matt Stover boots it through. Stover with the Cleveland Browns in '91 came here when the Ravens moved here, and less than 4 minutes into the game puts Baltimore on the board first.
ESPN.
Well, we all know that Brett Favre is the most durable quarterback in the NFL. 193 consecutive starts, 93 better than Peyton Manning. But Trent Green is number 4 on this list, albeit well back. Remember, he spent the first 5 years of his NFL career completely on the sidelines before getting a chance with Washington. And then as soon as he became a starter with the Rams in preseason, he got hurt. Kurt Warner took over, but he's found his place with Kansas City, and he doesn't miss starts. And of course, these numbers all updated through week number 4. Now back to Al Michaels.
Baltimore on top, and Wade Ritchie to kick off, and it's a bouncing ball that rolls out of bounds. So they brought Ritchie in. They put him on the roster after Stover was the place kicker, but Stover in his 15th year doesn't kick off the way Ritchie can.
Ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
And Jeff Triplett makes the call. Ball at the 40-yard line. Brian Billick does. Well, you know, John, you bring a guy in just to kick off, and then he kicks off out of bounds. That's as low as you can get.
And it was a funny-looking kick. You know, it wasn't a, you know, sometimes they'll kick directionally and try and get the ball between the numbers and the sideline, but that kind of looked like a line drive type of thing that was going sideways, and looked like he tried to kick it that way, but you know, again, that's what Dante Hall will do to a kicking team.
And that's the second time he's done it in this young season as Priest Holmes goes through the middle, gains 8, second and 2. Here's the Kansas City starting offensive 11.
Trent Green, Indiana.
Priest Holmes, Texas.
Tony Richardson, Auburn University.
Johnny Morton, USC.
Dante Hall, Texas A&M.
Tony Gonzalez, University of California.
Willie Rowe, Louisiana Tech.
Brian Waters, North Texas.
Casey Wigman, Iowa.
Will Shields, Nebraska.
John Wellborn, California, Berkeley.
Wellborn, the only change from last year. They lost John Tate, free agent, went to Chicago. Wellborn came over from Philadelphia. They give it to Holmes, working behind that line. 2 carries and a first down in Baltimore territory as we look at the Raven defense.
Anthony Weaver, Notre Dame.
Kelly Gregg, Oklahoma. Marcus Douglas, Howard University.
Terrell Suggs, Arizona State.
Ed Hartwell, Western Illinois. Ray Lewis, Miami.
Davis Thomas, Southern Miss.
Chris McAllister, University of Arizona.
Ed Reed,
The U.
Will Dempsey, San Diego State.
Gary Baxter, Baylor.
The U as in Miami. One guy you won't see defensively for the Ravens tonight is Deion Sanders. He's inactive as Green throws and the pass is incomplete. They signed Deion after he'd been gone for 3 years, had retired, had gone to CBS, and then Deion, and there he is. They thought he'd be able to play tonight. He tweaked his hamstring last week, sat out after he tweaked it 2 weeks ago, and they thought he'd be ready tonight, but not so, John.
Yeah, I was at practice on Saturday, and he was out there. He was a nickelback, and he was getting ready to play, but just watching him run, he didn't do anything any more than half speed if he did it half speed. So he wasn't ready on Saturday, and I kind of thought unless something miraculous happens on Sunday or Monday, there's no way he would be able to play.
Their next game is Sunday at Washington. Over the middle and wide open underneath is the tight end, the other tight end, Jason Dunn. When you say Kansas City tight end, automatically you think of Gonzalez. The other one is Dunn, and that's 17 yards on a first down off a 2nd and 10.
And Jason Dunn is kind of the blocking tight end. What they did is they're going to blitz Ray Lewis. They're going to bring him. So you're going to see that is an area right behind where he blitzed from is a vacated area. And that's a place that they hit the crossing tight end. You see, Ray Lewis comes, and Dunn comes right in behind where Ray Lewis aligned.
Now Priest Holmes is back in, tries to get to the outside, and coming in to break up the play, Adalius Thomas. Thomas took the extra syllable out of his name. He's now emerging, and he finally went to the Ravens PR guys. He said, I'm not Adalius anymore. I'm Adalius Thomas.
And he's an interesting player, too, you know, and he allows this Raven defense, I think, to, you know, play that 3-man line and go to a 4-man line because he's big. I mean, he's like a 265, 270-pound linebacker. So he can be a linebacker, or he can get down and play as a defensive lineman.
Went to Brett Favre school, Southern Miss. 2nd down and 11. Here's Holmes, and Holmes gets taken down, and you knew Ray Lewis would get into the picture sooner or later. You knew it would be sooner as well.
You know, it's interesting. Dick Vermeil was saying that the best thing to do to Ray Lewis is to run right at him because he's the best pursuer in football and tackler. Here's Ray Lewis here. They say they're going to run right at him. Well, if you're going to run right at him, you better block him. They wanted to get a center or guard on him. They did, and Ray Lewis is a very, very short tackler.
3rd down and 9 at the 31. Baltimore on top, 3-0 as we approach the halfway mark of the first period. Green down the sideline and hooking up with Johnny Morton, who makes the catch inbounds at the 12-yard line, one-on-one with Raymond Walls, and a gain of 19.
That's where Deion, in fact, when I was at practice the other day, Deion practiced at this position where Walls is. And you see Johnny Morton has a man-to-man right there, and he just throws it right up over his inside shoulder. Walls doesn't look back at all. Johnny Morton does, and makes a heck of a catch.
Chiefs in the red zone, where they've been the best in the league over the last 2 seasons. This year, after 3 games, they are 6th in the red zone. Holmes started to slip as Reed comes up at the 10-yard line to take him down. Gain of a couple. There it is in 2002. Tops in the league, as was the case. And you look at that percentage, that's a touchdown, not field goals and touchdowns. More than 3 times every 4 forays into the red zone, they get into the end zone, and Al Saunders is the offensive coordinator.
But last week, I thought they lost the game in the red zone. They went for it on 4th down once, and they didn't get it. They got down there on the 2-yard line and threw an interception and a 103-yard return.
Marcus Coleman of Houston, and that was the game turner as they lost to the Texans. 2nd and 8. Green's going to pack it in and slides to a stop. Where he begins the slide is where they put the ball down. Suggs was coming up, so you don't get the extra yardage. You don't get where you the point to which you slide. It's when you start to slide, so he's shy of the first.
You know, and more in today's football, the quarterback has to be able to do this. We're seeing right here from Skycam exactly what Trent Green sees. And when he gets out there, he looks to see if he can throw it. He wants to throw it as long as he can. Then he gets to a point that he has to put it down and run with it.
Third down and a short 2, and Dick Vermeil is going to take a timeout. Third and a short 2. Timeout. Kansas City. Baltimore on top. 3-0.
Well, it looked as though Trent Green could not hear the call inside his helmet. It's really noisy down here, but it also looked like there was interference to his helmet call. Al?
What'd you say?
Exactly.
We can't hear ourselves. The decibel level is over 100.
This is where the Chiefs love to go to Tony Gonzalez.
Third and 2, and they go to the other tight end, Dunn. So it's the other tight end, Dunn, who makes 2 big catches. They took the timeout. It was third down, a yard and a half, short 2, and Dunn over the middle gets into the end zone. Well, maybe for the Chiefs, they can turn it around in the sense they have led. They've taken the lead in all 3 games and lost. Tonight they fall behind, and now they have the lead.
Well, that's what they do to Tony Gonzalez. They're going to double him. They know that this is where they want to go. They want to go to Gonzalez. They're not going to let Tony Gonzalez get the ball, but in doing so, they lead Jason Dunn wide open.
Lawrence Tynes for the point after, and a very impressive 10-play, 60-yard drive. 6:13 to go in the period. 7-3 Kansas City. We go to Green Bay next Monday night as Tennessee takes on Green Bay, and the way we understand it, Steve McNair looks like he'll play. He missed yesterday's game against San Diego. You know about Brett Favre's concussion yesterday. He had to come out, but it looks promising for him. So it should be Favre and McNair, Green Bay, Tennessee next Monday, as the kickoff is taken by B.J. Sams. And the Raven rookie brings that one back out to the 34-yard line. That's where the Ravens and Bowler go to work, with Kansas City up by 4 early in Baltimore. Father of Kyle Bowler, who's 23 years old. They're from California. They grew up in Southern California. Kyle did. That's where Bob raised the family. Then he went to Cal, and they give it to Kevin Johnson, who takes it on the end around to the 35-yard line. So Bowler comes in. He gets drafted. He's the 19th pick overall in the 2003 draft. They give him the starting job last year, and he performed all right from time to time, and then he got hurt about midway through the season, and that just about did him in.
He told me that he learned a lot after that, you know, standing on the sidelines, because he said when he was playing, he said he really didn't know what he was doing. He'd just look at the safeties and try and read. He never read fronts, never read linebackers. He said the game was real fast. He said now this year he understands defenses. He can read, and he's slowed down in the pocket.
Play fake. He gets chased, throws, and then it is dropped by Terry Jones. It was right there. Jones had it in the numbers and couldn't hold on. And Terry Jones is seeing a lot of action because of the injury to Todd Heap, who figures to be out for another couple of weeks.
And Kyle Bowler really misses Todd Heap because he's his go-to guy. That was a perfect pass. And this is another thing the Ravens are trying to do with Bowler this year, is move him a little. You know, he's not one of those running type of quarterbacks, but they want him to run some, to run for some first downs, and to also run and throw it.
3rd and 10. They have Chester Taylor now in as the running back. The fake to him. Bowler over the middle. It's a wobbly pass that might have been tipped the way it came off his hand, and it was. And so it's a very quick 3 and out for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, and that's what they don't want from this offense. That's why, you know, it's such a ball control offense. Run Jamal Lewis, get first downs, take time off the clock, rest your defense. Those kinds of things that they just didn't do there.
Dante Hall last year, his first 3 games. This year, averaging only 14 yards per punt return. Last year, 4 runbacks for touchdowns. And he ran one back in the game here last year. That was the difference in the game. This is a high floating kick that is fair caught by Dante Hall at the 24-yard line. So with 5:08 to go in the period, Kansas City with a 4-point lead and the ball as you look at Baltimore Harbor.
We head to the links for the '84 Lumber Classic, where PGA star Vijay Singh continued a record-breaking year. Singh held off Stuart Sink by 1 stroke, featuring a final round 69, finishing 15 under par. His 8th victory of the year surpasses Tiger Woods for the all-time single-season money title. ESPN celebrates Vijay Singh, our Athlete of the Week.
I am 3-time U.S. Nationals champion Tony Schumacher, and this is another U.S. Nationals memory. 1969, during a qualifying run, Pittsburgh top gas racer D.A. Santucci choked on his chewing gum and it became lodged in his throat. He survived the funny but potentially dangerous incident and went on to race in the finals. His opponent, Phil Hobbs, red-lighted and Santucci became a U.S. Nationals champion. I'm Tony Schumacher, and it happened at the U.S. Nationals in 1969.
Catch all the exciting, hard-hitting action of NFL American football all season long on ESPN.
World Cup qualifying will figure prominently on the next edition of ESPN's SoccerNet Press Pass, with pride of place, of course, going to Nigeria's World Cup qualifying campaign. That's all coming up on Friday, right here on ESPN.
Baltimore, Washington. No, not the Orioles and the Expos. It's Sunday Night Football on ESPN. The Ravens go down the road to meet the Washington Redskins on Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. And welcome back to Mike Patrick. He'll underwent surgery and he'll be back in the booth next Sunday night. Down the road go the Baltimore Ravens. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line for the Kansas City Chiefs, as Green on the short drop may have had that one tipped. He was under pressure. There's a flag down. Only the second penalty called tonight for the referee Jeff Triplett's crew.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. Automatic first down.
That's Chris McAllister, the Pro Bowl cornerback. Automatic first, and that is out to the 33-yard line.
If you look at Chris McAllister, he's right here in the play. I didn't see that he did anything. The only thing is, I guess that he had his hands on the receiver while the ball was in the air, because I was in that legal 5-yard area, and I was kind of watching. I mean, it wasn't something that was blatant.
Brian Billick's calling him over. I'm wondering if this has to do with the spot of the ball.
Baltimore is challenging the ruling on the field.
Whether it was tipped. Yeah, the way that ball came off, I think I called it on the play-by-play as it may have been tipped. That is reviewable. The interference call is not reviewable. If they had marked the ball at the wrong spot on the field, that would be reviewable. A tip ball is also reviewable.
Yeah, see, and that's what they had to call on McAllister, because he did have his hands on him when the ball was in the air. It had to be tipped the way it went. I mean, it looked like it fell off a table.
Yeah.
Let's see if Ray Lewis hits it. He's coming straight up the middle. I don't know if he got it with his right hand or not.
So far, I'm not sure either replay's been conclusive, and I'm not sure that one is either. I think that may have gone under his arm, and it was almost like Green through a sinker, like a split finger here.
That's right, because I don't think anyone tips that ball. And it looks like to me the pass interference should have been on Gary Baxter, because he was on his receiver, and that was a receiver that Trent Green was throwing to. I think maybe he just, as he starts to let that ball go, I think he changes his mind, and he tries to change where the ball's going.
Never a good idea. But here he may have gotten away with it. because if it was tipped, it would be 2nd and 10. And again, remember, the call on the field was that the ball was not tipped, so the referee Triplett would have to see definitively that the ball was tipped, and he's shaking his head.
And it's a 9-yard penalty, and you wonder with such a strong defense why you would use up a challenge on this unless you really knew that it was right.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. 9 yards, first half. It's going to cost you. Not that the timeout's a big deal, but now you're down to 1 challenge.
Yeah, I think that was a Trent Green air throw. But it looked like there was pass interference by both guys because...
After reviewing the play, the pass was not touched by the defense. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands. Baltimore is charged their first timeout and their first challenge.
You could see where Billick thought it, but just the way the ball came. Didn't Vermeil told us last night on that interception returned by Coleman last week, 102 yards. He said the ball came out of his hand funny on that play as well.
Right. Yeah, and again, you see the red line. That's a 5-yard chuck. Now, again, that rule doesn't come into play once the ball's in the air. Once the ball is in the air, then you go to pass interference where you can't touch the guy.
Green on first down. Out here to Dunn. Dunn had caught 1 pass in 3 games. That was a touchdown pass last week against Houston. Now he's already caught 3 tonight, including 1 touchdown. And he has picked up a total of 24 yards through the air.
Well, you know, the way everyone's defending the Kansas City Chiefs in the passing game is you defend Priest Holmes coming out of the backfield and Tony Gonzalez. And they don't think their wide receivers can beat them. So what the Chiefs are doing now is they're going to bunch, and they're also going to 2 tight ends and letting that second tight end do some damage.
And there's an inactive Eddie Kennison, who missed a lot of preseason, inactive tonight. And there is Holmes taking it about a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1, and a flag comes in at the end of the play.
Well, the last guy that we saw was Terrell Suggs hitting Tony Gonzalez, but you don't know who started it. That's the old deal. Who started or who did the officials see first? But when they threw the flag, it was Suggs hitting Gonzalez. The guy that, you know, puts his hands up in the air and starts shaking his head and saying, "Not me."
After the play is over, personal foul, blow to the head, number 55, unnecessary eruptive of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sure that's what Mike Nola is talking to Suggs about, is we want you to play aggressively. We want you to be tough. We want you to be all those things, but don't be stupid. And that's stupid if you hit a guy like that in the head. And what Gonzalez did is he gave him a little push. Suggs just kind of turned around, and there he was. It didn't look blatant to me, did it to you?
No, it didn't look blatant, but they're going to take him out of the game, at least for 1 play. The ball at the 43-yard line as Green goes back. Eschews the screen and then throws, and that's caught at the 38-yard line. And a flag comes down at the end of this play. But that's Jason Dunn's 4th catch in about 11 minutes.
I think some of the others were planned. That one wasn't planned. As you said, they were trying to throw a screen pass. It was covered.
Downfield. Number 77 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, that's what happens when you improvise. Willie Roaf went downfield.
Right, and that's not his fault. I mean, Willie Roaf is expecting a screen pass. He's timing a screen pass, and then when the screen pass is covered, the quarterback scrambles and goes someplace else. Willie Roaf is still playing screen pass that never did materialize. And everything is happening behind him. That is not his fault. Spoken like an old tackle, Al. You got to stand up for those offensive linemen.
Yes, you do. Willie Roaf 9 times to Hawaii. 1st and 15 from the 48 draw. And Kelly Gregg reads that perfectly. And we have Ray Lewis mic'd up. Now listen.
Desperate people do desperate things.
So they're going to do something desperate tonight.
Confident people believe in their foundation.
That's what Deion and Ray Lewis were talking about. You know, expect anything. When an 0-3 team comes in, they're not just going to stay vanilla.
Between Deion and Lewis, they've got 2 pretty good sermonizers. 2nd and 14 from the 47-yard line. And that is caught by Gonzalez. And Tony is able to take the ball to the 35-yard line. Forced out there by Cornell Brown. That's a gain of 13 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 2 when they line up.
That's a good way to get the ball to Tony Gonzalez on a crossing pattern. He starts on the left and comes from the left to the right. You see him over here. He's going to come here and just come across the field. You see, and you get under that. When he gets under that second linebacker, Trent Green knows that he has him.
3rd down, call it 1. The ball gets spotted at the 34-yard line. A long one, 2.5 minutes to go, and Green's going to take another timeout. So that's the second timeout taken by Kansas City here in the first half. Trent Green played his college football at Indiana, was selected by San Diego in the draft back in the early 90s, and then just sat on the bench. He was inactive. He went to Canada, didn't play there. Then Trent Green winds up going to Washington, and he just sits on the bench. So here's a guy, we figured it out last night. He had been in uniform for 83 professional football games, including the 2 in Canada, and did not throw a single pass.
Yeah, but some good has to come out of that. And Trent Green, you wonder, how you stayed with it. I mean, persistence, you have to stay. If you want to be a professional football player, you just have to wait for your opportunity. He did. But he said one of the big things he learned is when he had a headset on, he heard Norv Turner. He heard how he called the plays, what he was thinking, and he said that helped him more than anything when he got his opportunity.
3rd down and 1, and now making his 52nd straight start. He gives it to Holmes. So here's a guy who doesn't play for 83 games, then makes 52 consecutive starts. A little more about Trent Green.
The one word that defines me is persistent. I would love to meet Colin Powell. My hidden talent is I can roll my stomach. And I'm not going to show you. My favorite cartoon is SpongeBob SquarePants. Will Ferrell makes me laugh so hard it hurts. When it touches my lips, it just tastes so good.
Well, he's not going to meet Colin Powell tonight, but Michael Powell, the FCC commissioner, is here tonight.
Yeah, I saw you talking to him earlier.
In fact,
there's another timeout.
2-on-1. So that's the end of the timeout situation for Kansas City. So they're out of timeouts. That's not that big a deal in the first half, but what is a pretty big deal is if you don't have a timeout, you can't challenge.
Well, the other thing
that's
a big deal is you shouldn't have that much confusion. I mean, you've had mini camps in April and May and June, and you got the training camp in July, and you played 4 preseason games. You come in at your 4th game, you ought to know what you're doing. I mean, and again, sometimes I think we get so complicated trying to get so many packages and this group in and that group in and that play that we don't watch the clock. And I think clock management in this league right now is atrocious.
Well, I thought it was atrocious, and then it got better, and now it's back to being fairly atrocious again. And, of course, we're not singling out the Washington Redskins, but 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and right here in the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, they had to take a timeout after they just took a timeout.
Right.
What the heck did you do during that timeout that you had to take another timeout?
1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. And they give the ball to Johnny Morton after it looked like Holmes was going to take it through the middle. And Johnny Morton takes the ball to the 27-yard line with 1.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
You see Will Shields on that. We talk about things that are good about Kansas City, and it's their offensive line. And they're not big old heavy guys. I mean, they got all guys that can move. And on that play, if you're going to run a reverse, watch Will Shields here, the left guard. He starts here, delays a little, and then makes contact in the open field. It's something to run out there and be out there, but to be out there and get on a corner, you have to have something special.
And now they cut it back with Tony Richardson, fullback. Carries the ball occasionally. Tony Richardson that's only his 2nd carry of the season.
I said earlier that this is the best offensive line in football, and watch the push that they get. They all get off in the ball together. They kind of zone block this thing, but they get those Ravens going back.
3rd down and 2, final half minute of the opening quarter. Most of the crowd on its feet. Ravens looking for a key stop here. Green gets protected well, and that's knocked down by the ball-hawking safety Ed Reed, and sets up a field goal attempt for Kansas City.
And Ed Reed is that exactly, a ball hawker. He's one of those guys that reads a quarterback, and then when the quarterback throws the ball, he really gets a jump on it. That time, he was on Tony Gonzalez. So you take one of your best defensive players and put him on their best offensive player.
41-yard attempt for Lawrence Tynes, who was born in Scotland, the man who replaced the man born in Denmark, Morten Andersen, who's now with Minnesota, and that kick is good. So the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens, a team that hadn't given up a point in the first quarter this season, take a 10-3 lead. The big story, of course, in Baltimore this week deals with Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis, many of you who follow football knew, was arrested on a federal drug charge over the summer regarding an incident that took place before he came into the National Football League. He was charged with a conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute 5 kilograms of cocaine and using a cell phone in violation of federal law. The trial was scheduled in Atlanta on November 1st, still is, but apparently a plea bargain agreement has been reached pending the judge's decision. And what we hear, the speculation is that Lewis will go down to Atlanta, plead guilty on Thursday, and accept a plea bargain which apparently will include about a 4 to 6 month jail sentence. Tidily, that works out for the Ravens because it'll be in the offseason, but he is then subject to discipline by the National Football League. And the speculation there in regard to the NFL is that he will get a suspension. What I'm hearing from our sources is from 2 to 4 games, and it will take place fairly soon. Probably not next Sunday night, but maybe following their bye week after that. Might cost them games against Buffalo and Philadelphia. That seems to be the best information in regard to Lewis right now, but here's a guy who's obviously distracted and has been all season. Sam's up past the 30, the 40, and out of bounds to the 50-yard line. In regard to that, here was Ray Lewis talking to Jamal Lewis before the game.
Nothing else matters. All right? Put your court case and everything on your shoulders. All right? That's the way I roll with mine. Put it on your shoulders, all right? Play with your energy. Play with your energy. Let's go.
Ray would know.
I'll tell you, Ray did know, and Jamal Lewis last week played that way when he had a 186 yards, 75-yard touchdown run
against Cincinnati. First down from the 46-yard line. And here is Jamal Lewis, and he'll take it up to the 48, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. At the end of the quarter, the Kansas City Chiefs, in desperate need of their first win of the season, lead the Baltimore Ravens 10-3. And Monday Night Football from Baltimore continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Bionic is a better defensive second base.
Oh, another nice play by Bianco. Klesko, the pitch to Gonzalez, hit in the air to right center. Finley on his horse, dives, makes an incredible catch. And Klesko is back to second.
I think it's pretty old. Not pitching like he's old, though. And not hitting like it is long. Long run, Magruder with a diving play. Taking away a base hit from Randy Johnson. Driven into left field. Jenkins, long run into the gap. He goes, and he slides, holds on to that baseball tonight. The 3 back. Shot, leaping, making the play, Shea Hillenbrand. Speaking of the Red Sox.
For the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
ESPN presents the best of Friday Night Fights. Prior to his 3 classics against Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward was part of the 2001 Fight of the Year. Don't miss this 12-round classic battle between Ward and Emmanuel Augustus. Friday on ESPN.
Back to Baltimore we come. Al Michaels, John Madden, Michelle Tafoya, Dick Vermeil, the oldest coach in the league. Brian Billick. Each guy has won a Super Bowl. Billick in his 6th season here. Vermeil winning it with the Rams following the '99 campaign. Billick here in the 2000 season. Lewis goes to the outside on the first play of the period. He's thrust out of bounds. And just one other thing about Jamal Lewis. The reason he has plea bargained, he contends he's innocent. He didn't want to go to trial because the downside of that trial, because of the federal guidelines, had he been found guilty, it was a minimum 10-year prison term or career ending for him. So anyway, Jamal Lewis, plenty on his mind. Paul Tagliabue will issue whatever decision comes down. After that, the commissioner is here tonight, and Lewis comes out of the game here on 3rd down and 7. Chester Taylor is in the game. Bowler, pocket breaking down. Now he has to run to the sideline, tries to turn it upfield and gets taken down as he crosses the 50-yard line, about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Kyle Bowler had a run on that one, didn't get a first down, so they get another 3 and out. The defense doesn't get the rest. But I'll tell you, one guy that is an excellent player. Watch this left tackle here, Jonathan Ogden. I mean, he is just built in a pass protecting position. Holy moly, you see Terry Jones? That'll open up your sinuses.
Take the plaque and the calculus right off the molars. Dave Zastidle to punt. Floats it up there, and Hall has to fair catch it at the 17. Kansas City and Green go to work there early 2nd quarter. Kansas City leading Baltimore 10-3.
Because Bionic is a better defensive second base.
Oh, another nice play by Bianca. Klesko, the pitch to Gonzalez, hit in the air to right center. Finley on his horse, dives, makes an incredible catch. And Klesko is back to second.
I think it's pretty old. Not pitching like he's old, though. And not hitting like it is well. Long run, Magruder with a diving play. Taking away a base hit from Randy Johnson. Driven into left field. Jenkins, long run into the gap. He goes, and he slides, holds on to that baseball. Tonight, with 3 back. Shot, leaping, making the play, Shea Hillenbrand. Speaking of the Red Sox.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
Instead of hating, help me lift the big man up. Pull up and show them they keep dreaming. Stretch, shake, let it go.
Back we come to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, where the baseball season ended across the parking lot at Oriole Park, Hamden Yards yesterday. Week 4 of the football season concludes tonight. Trent Green with the flag thrown on the snap, going deep down the left sideline, and Johnny Morton was the intended receiver, covered by Chris McAllister.
And they put Chris McAllister, their best corner, on who they think is the best receiver of the other team, and that, of course, is Johnny Morton.
Illegal shift, offense. 2 men moving, and the team did not get set. The 5-yard penalty, still first down.
1st and 15. Here's Michelle.
Well, you saw the Chiefs take all 3 of their timeouts in that first quarter, Al. I checked with a member of the staff who told me it was a different circumstance every time, a combination of noise, important downs, but apparently no equipment failures on the Chiefs sideline, Al.
But all 3 are gone. And they were gone with a couple of minutes left in the first period. 1st and 15 right now. Holmes. Thomas makes him cut back inside, and he gets up to the 14-yard line. Nice job to seal off the outside by Adalys Thomas. Priest Holmes, who played here, remember he came up with Baltimore. He was an undrafted free agent out of Texas. First 50 games with a team, 65 touchdowns. Marshall Faulk, of course, started his career with Indianapolis, scored 64 in his first 50 in St. Louis. Yards from scrimmage, and there it is. Marshall catches a lot more passes than does Priest. 2nd and 13. Holmes. Change of pace, move to the 19, tackled by Will Demps.
Well, the Chiefs got a break on that one. Willie Roaf, the left tackle, was going to pull, and he kind of gave it away. He started to lean to his left or pull before the ball was snapped. So he kind of came back, and then he reset it, and then he pulled, and you could tell everyone was pointing that the ball was coming to that. Watch the left tackle here. It was before that where he moved and then reset, and you knew that he was going to pull because he started to pull once, then reset, and then came back again.
3rd and 7. This defensive-oriented team, this crowd rises every time the defense is out there, and the opposition has a 3rd down. Suggs gets taken out of the play. The pass thrown into a lot of traffic, and Reed got a hand on it to knock it away. He says, nope. Ed Reed, who has 14 picks in his first 35 career games, and that's a pretty good ratio. So 4th down.
Yeah, it's not only the 3rd down, but I think it's a position on the field. They know that, they have them backed up. They're going to get good field position, and they're going to make as much noise for Trent Green as they can. Hey, that was good coverage there. I mean, you talk about throwing into a zone or a zone reacting to a ball. They had 3 guys right there.
Now, Jason Baker, who was with him in preseason, was cut, came back, has that one fair caught by B.J. Sams at the 43-yard line. 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter in Baltimore. Chiefs 10, Ravens 3.
Hi, I'm Gary Scelzi, 1998 U.S. Nationals champion, and this is another U.S. Nationals memory. 1972 Top Fuel rookie Gary Beck gets his license just 2 weeks before the U.S. Nationals, and in his first ever race, Beck not only makes it to the final, he beats Jerry Ruth to take the U.S. Nationals win in his professional debut. I'm Gary Scelzi, and it happened at the U.S. Nationals in 1972.
Alstott. Oh no. Philip Buchanan walks in. 31-yard touchdown.
Renteria grounds one, deflected to shortstop. This guy in O'Baraham, he got it. Oh, what a play.
28 years old.
Nix hits this one solid. Center field. Oh my goodness, what a grab by Reed.
That's a Jim Edmonds highlight play right there.
8 games remaining after today.
Patterson fighting the glare of the sun.
Situation. Toss Anderson so he can throw as well. Left-handed, and Glenn reaches for it and catches it for the touchdown. Richie Anderson.
World Cup qualifying will figure prominently on the next edition of ESPN's SoccerNet Press Pass, with pride of place, of course, going to Nigeria's World Cup qualifying campaign. That's all coming up on Friday, right here on ESPN.
Baltimore has the ball. They trail by 7. Jim Fossil, who coached the Giants for several years, fired at the end of last year and winds up as a senior consultant with the offense here. And Jamal Lewis is going to throw it back to Bowler, and Bowler's going to go deep and lays it out there right into the arms of Randy Himes for a touchdown. 57 yards.
Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs last night, said, we know that Brian Billick is going to have a trick play for us. This is a form of a flea flicker, except that Jamal Lewis started to the outside, threw it back to Kyle Bowler, and that let Hines get deep downfield. Watch Randy Hines here. You see he gives a little stop and go, and then Bowler just has to get it out there where no defender can get it. Tell you, the safeties came up. Both safeties bit on that run, and then he was able to get it over their head.
Himes beats him. Bowler throws it about 60 yards in the air, and the game is tied.
Hello there. It seems that FIFA have finally gotten the World Club Championship to a point where they can ensure that it can be played. Remember in 2000 it was played in Brazil with no competition since that time anywhere. Now comes the announcement that the new World Club Championship will be played in Japan in 2005 and 2006. That's fine with me, as it replaces the Intercontinental Cup, which Japan has hosted since 1980. So fair enough. Give them the first 2 shots at the new cup. I am against any country becoming a permanent home for the World Club Championships. I say it should be rotated to countries who never get a chance to host the big tournament. Use this competition to build up football in certain areas. It can also be used to say thank you to fans in countries who have shown so much support for the World Game. In other words, give everybody a chance to enjoy the World Club Championships. What do you think? That's what's today along your bag this week. And I'm Tommy Smith with a Y.
You don't have to miss American college football anymore. ESPN Game Plan gives fans the games they want all season long right on your computer. ESPN Game Plan is the only online pay-per-view package that offers maximum college football. Just log on to ESPN.com and click on the Game Plan logo, and you've got over 150 of the best games in the college football season. Games are live and archived. You can watch any game, anytime. Log on to ESPN.com and search Game Plan. ESPN presents the best of Friday Night Fights. Prior to his 3 classics against Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward was part of the 2001 Fight of the Year. Don't miss this 12-round classic battle between Ward and Emmanuel Augustus. Friday on ESPN.
Kyle Bowler takes it back from Lewis and then throws it to Himes. Himes with his 2nd touchdown of his career. The first came last week. And now the kickoff floats into the hands of Dante Hall at the 2-yard line. Hall picking and threading, but the coverage is very good. And he's taken down at the 20-yard line. Corey Fuller made the tackle.
Watch the effect. Watch the safeties here. When Jamal Lewis gets the ball and starts, both of these safeties come up and bite, and then Himes is able to get right behind him. You see him come up with a run fake, and there goes Himes right here. Here come the safeties chasing him. Now that's what you try and get. You know, you try and get the fake of the run or to try and get those safeties up. Jamal Lewis does it, gets those safeties up, gets a ball back to Kyle Bowler, and there's Randy Himes wide open.
There's Dad.
The old fireman.